Gods, liches, and gnomes, oh my. This is Natural 9, episode 106, covering Critical Role, episode 106. Last time, the party went to find the key to finding Ioun. And that key is a crazy old gnome named Sprig, played by our favorite Reinhardt Darren DePaul. And after a scuffle with some of Vecna's goons, who found them apparently, the party headed to the plane of Ioun because Sprig was literally the key. One plane shift later, the party arrives at a nice little library where Percy goes crazy from all the books, and they start their conversation with the knowing mistress. Ioun is a nice lady. She greets the party and asks them what they're doing here, as if she didn't know. Oh, well, she has guesses, but I guess she didn't want to be that goddess. Sprig asks the question we've all had in mind. Why him? Why was he the key to finding her? Ioun tells him that while he's super salty about her domain, he's also spreading knowledge, so he met her criteria. Someone no one would expect, and someone who followed her beliefs. Then, Sprig's salt runneth over as he taunts Ioun a bit with a knock-knock joke, but she chuckles and thanks him for the levity. The party lets her know exactly what's going on, what with the Vecna coming back and all that bullshit. Ioun figured that was it, and Vex asks if Vecna's done the thing and become as gods. Ioun says nope, briefly becoming the chief editor at Cosmopolitan, and says that the Prime Trammel is indeed something she can help with, but she'll only help her new champion. Since now half the party are champions of various gods, the final four are looked over by Ioun. Grog. Wait, hold on, Grog? You're fucking with us, right? Nah, she was just apologizing to Grog for the discomfort he was feeling in the realm of smart books and big words. Poor guy. She pulled the rug from under him.
Madness.
Oh, what a roller coaster! I was going up and then right back down.
That was cold.
Thank you for your gaze, my lady.
Just invented amusement park, right?
Keyleth seeks answers, but she's not the kind of person who would be able to champion Ioun. Percy, I mean, it's Percy, right? He's the guy. He's the guy. He has to be. Nope. Apparently, he's too greedy with his knowledge. He keeps too many secrets. He's not mature enough in her eyes to handle his power. Poor bloke. And he just had his god moment, too. Which leaves us with Scanbo? I mean, it makes sense. He shares his knowledge on the daily, what with the silly stories and tales of bullshit and songs of crazy epicness. That buffoonery will eventually become the stuff of legends, as the kind Ioun tells a doubtful Scanlan. She will grant him the power of isolation, the Prime Trammel's main component? It's a spell or something? I don't know. But she'll grant it if he can find the book with it in her library, with Vox Machina's help, should he choose. He has 1 hour. Vex prays to Pelor. God, that's a weird sentence to say now. But nothing comes from it, unfortunately. Meanwhile, the gang starts searching, and Vex lucks into a natural 20 perception. They find some spectral dudes who are not helpful. They keep searching around, Scanlan apparently having some knowledge from the campaign guide, and the organization of the library is pretty strict, but it is constantly moving. Grog drinks the tea, and Percy catches up on his read of the Full Metal Alchemist manga. Scanlan sings to himself, clutching the Ion Stone he traded from Tiberius all those years ago. Okay, like a little over a year ago, but you know what I mean. Which gets the attention of some of the librarians. But then he stops singing, and now they don't give a shit. Wow, they're the kind of people who make Matt say it's high noon at cons. All they're there for is the dance monkey dance shtick. Well, Scanlan will have none of that. Oh, he has to, so he pulls out Mythcarver and goes LeVar Burton on their asses. Okay. The party then become rabid Hamilton fanboys. Oh, who are we kidding? They're all... Scanlan keeps singing to the librarians as they keep guiding him. Vex and Scanlan finally arrive at a locked bookcase. The book peeps can't open it, but Vex can. An inspiration later, Vex picks the lock. As a note, the DC on that was 30. She hits exactly 30. Plus 1 with inspiration. They find a ton of books, but one really hits the locate object goodness. Time's running out. They fly the heck away. Scanlan trying to figure out what this textless book says. A few close shaves later, Scanlan tries to cast Dominate Monster into it because I don't know. And it works! Text appears! And right before the mark, they get back. Sprigg still trying to come up with rhymes for Vecna. Ioun returns, accepts the book, and Scanlan gains the Tome of Isolation. He also gains the Blessing of the Knowing Mistress. Is he a champion of Ioun? Well, it gives him more smarts than Futaba Sakura's Navigator abilities, and the Tome gives the ability to use the spell to banish Vecna. Too bad its DC, or its spell save DC is shit at 10. But that increases by 5 for every prime trammel on the target. So, say for example, Vecna has 2, that's a DC of 20. So, how make trammel? Turns out it's smallish, and they do need a fragment of divinity, which is heavy. The originals were made by the Allhammer, below the Osmot. It's going to be easier to place them on Vecna as he gets more hurt. The forge, the core anvil, is at a place called Scald Seat, off the coast of Isilra, near a city called Shorecombe, or a little fishing village rather. Kiki gets a vision of the village, and a pillar of smoke flies out from the ocean, signifying where the forge is. The gang have to travel to it, and they'll have to go underground, where toxic fumes and baddies might meet them. Also, to forge the trammels, they're going to need the strength of a titan. Stone. Knuckles, it's Grog. Grog's going to forge them. Suddenly, Grog, gains knowledge of smithing. The bootmaker has now become a sword maker. Wait a minute, water's not evil. They also need the ingenuity of a madman. Come on. Was it ever gonna be anyone else but Percy? He gains the knowledge of the design of a prime trammel, but only as long as they need it. Ioun speaks on the concept of destiny, and that fuck it, you have your own choices. She also acknowledges that the gods need humanity, but humanity don't need them. Vax asks for a history lesson about Vecna. Apparently he was brilliant as a human, but unappreciated. He made tons of war weapons, and eventually took the path to lichdom before heading into the Shadow Realm to play a children's card game for the rights to the city of Thar Amphala, eventually taking it. Then, he used a celestial solstice to teleport to pretty much everywhere using his little sphere thingies. During a raid, a guy called Kaz was killed, but he accepted fealty to Vecna and became his general, Kaz the Bloody-Handed. He was given a blade with part of Vecna's consciousness in it. Wait, maybe I'll have a blade with conscience. Nah, it can be. Anyway, more fights happened, and then the forces of good, led by Palor's champion, managed to reverse engineer Vecna's teleport bullshit, and Vecna took the champion, Yasvada, out. But the battle was fierce. And then Kaz turned on Vecna and defeated him, leaving behind only a hand and eye. Kaz didn't survive either, he was disintegrated. The hand, eye, and sword were never recovered. The sword could potentially be of use because it apparently wanted to kill Vecna. It's called the Sword of Kaz. Not Craven Edge. I mean, what are the odds? Yeah, by the way, Vecna's a god now. Oh, what the? Yeah, apparently while they were learning more about him, Vecna managed to complete the rituals that brought him godhood. Oh, fuck my duck. The schedule's now running a lot faster. They're gonna need that seed, guys. Well, it turns out that the physical bodies of gods aren't really the gods, just a vessel or an avatar. So she might be able to, but she tells them to strike soon. So she gives them one. But it does break her realm a bit. Yeah. Sprig offers to bid himself to help her. She just asks him to stay behind and help her heal. He says his goodbyes. Grog getting a thanks for giving strength. Vex giving him a forehead kiss. Vax getting a be happy. And Scanlan getting an apology for being compared to him. Percy is told to celebrate his secrets with his friends, and a promise for a spared thought every time Sprig reads a book here. And Kiki's goodbye is the hardest of all.
I think you're going to be the hardest to say goodbye to. Because you cared. No one ever cared before. That's why they called me Sprig. I wasn't good enough to be a broken branch. I was just a sprig. That's how I got my name.
If only people knew that sprigs give foundation to the entire tree.
The party leaves them be, with Ayun reminding Scanlan how much he's worth to Vox Machina, to Kaylee, and to everyone. The party ponders for a bit before plane shifting back to the cabin to pick up the shackles and prepare their next steps. After the break, the gang arrive at Sprig's place and take a survey of the land. Percy grabs his thingy and kills the guy who does nothing. Vex and Vax go aside to have a heart-to-heart, Vex nearly losing a leg to a trap in the process, while Percy and Kiki go through Sprig's stuff. Vex explains that the eloping was spontaneous and that shit just was happening and she never found the time to mention it to Vax. Vax just wishes he was there for the happy moment, but there's no time to be upset. He's just happy for Vex and Percy. Vax asks that Vex keep Kiki company after he's gone. I mean, she basically looks like him, so that'll probably work. Meanwhile, Percy and Kiki talk about how gods don't really like them. Then Percy does his own apologies about not mentioning the eloping. Then they talk about destiny and listening to the gods, and they toast with a book and a potted plant. Grog and Scanlan have their own heart-to-heart.
Why don't you... I want you to swallow the bean.
Swallow the bean.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about Sprig, right? I mean, his tummy was glowing like fucking Teddy Ruxpin. Like, I want to see you swallow that shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Romancing the bean.
All right, I will mime swallowing the beam while I wrist pocket it.
There's a stat for
Oh,
that.
you
I'm so
crazy! I was
excited.
only kidding.
It's so overt, yet you are entranced. He swallowed that thing.
I mean, I hope you know what you're doing. Like, do we get time
trust
with
you.
you before you leave?
I trust you 100%, Grog.
They talk about their destination and address the elephant in the room. How the hell did Vecna even listen in on them? The undead guy wasn't gonna tell them much, according to Vecna, who was apparently just hanging out with them all casually. What the fuck is fucking me? Of course, he's not really there. He's just taunting them, what with his newfound godhood and all. Well, a small bit of taunting later, Vecna informs them that he knows exactly what Vax is, and that he knows where Vecna is. He says to just bring it. Kiki looks for a tree. Vecna, after getting face-fucked by Vax, tells him and the rest of Vox Machina that his plan is to rule all and to remove borders, nations, tyrants, and war. He then taunts them by telling them that he knows everything. Everyone they love, every plan they have, every move they'll make. and he'll fucking kill everyone if they don't serve him. Need I remind you that everyone includes Aloravi Soren. Fucking kill him! Kill him, Vox Machina! Grog loves the begging, cause it means Vecna's scared. They get the hell out of there. Vex telling Vecna that she only worships gods with big dicks, and they all head to Vasselheim. And there's a commotion. Vasselheim's getting ready for war. News of Vecna's hit the Holy City, so Vex warns about the undead problem. They head to Queenie's temple, and Vax takes a dip in the blood pool. Yay! By the way, this is the first time the Vox Machina has ever witnessed this communion, so they're a bit shocked. Anyway, he has his talk with the Raven Queen, and asks her to give some of her power so that they can make a prime trammel. She thinks maybe don't do that, because she's a bit paranoid about giving her power because the other gods are kind of mean to her and she's weaker, they could take over and it's a whole thing. He tries to persuade her though. She sends him back with an opal in his hand. She did it. Thank you, Queenie. Then Vax makes out with his girlfriend while still bloody. Next steps, mansion for sleep, and Grog and Scanlan and Vex get arrested. Oh, no, they actually go to see Grun. Vex and the Meat Man talk about the similarities between the Sword of Kaz and Craven Edge, thinking maybe it's time to go get it back? Anyway, they arrive at the Trial Forge, and Grog greets the only way he knows how.
I apologize for the late flower. Don't be confused. It's me, Grog Strongdraw, wielder of the Titanstone Knuckles. I'm in Cog Cheeto.
Grog, Vex, and Scambo speak to Groot. Limited amounts of time apparently aren't enough to speed through speaking to Cord. He is, after all, the god of self-reliance and competition. He lives on the plane of Ysgard. Grog then asks for a bean, obviously referring to the beads of power given by the gods. Grun gives him actual beans. Thank you, Matt. Thank you so much. After the Meat Man offers him some antique furniture, they head back to the Raven Queen's temple, having been given a blue job by Scanlan. As they head back, wyverns of the Platinum Sanctuary are flying around, patrolling. Grog's beans are super powerful, and Vex draws a bean with a dick. No, this is not a joke. No one knows where Ysgard is, but Percy knows what he needs to make the trammel. A lot of platinum. Maybe some from the platinum mine back in Wildmounts? Or maybe they can just make their own. Grog thinks about taking Kima's Holy Avenger and dying really fucking quickly, and Scanlan wonders about the warriors that had already fallen to Vecna, because he mentioned that another party had tried to take him out and died. They talk about scrying on friends to figure things out, and Vex finally admits to tricking Grog in regards to that Githyanki skull a long time ago, and they think maybe hanging out with Kimalura, who have it at the moment, just in case. They only decide to scry, though. Ali is writing and casting, and Kima is serving tea. Normal lovelies. Vax thinks maybe the skull was a phylactery, but nah, probably not. The party thinks about talking to the dead body of Delilah Briarwood, and they try. But there's no soul to talk to. Necromancy! Oh hey, it's time for a scry. Kiki makes an attempt, and then her vision arrives at Tharamfala, wherever it landed on Asilra, and in a hole in the ground. Hooded figures. And one of them is definitely Delilah. And whatever she's doing, apparently according to her, it's almost ready. Vecna confirms this vision is real because he's a fucking creep. Kiki tells them all about it, and Percy promises that Delilah will die as many times as it takes. The party figures sleeping before heading out is best, and plans a feast in the future. As they head to bed, Scanlan becomes an angel. Because that's fucking fun. We will say nothing of the rest of his night. Just, it's Sam. You understand. Schedule shifts are always lame, but this one could end the world. Will the Prime Trammels be enough? Let me know your thoughts below, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. Then find a magical book and present it to me here on Twitter. I'm Arthur from Natural 9, and is it Thursday yet?